Diabetes by its nature is a condition which is 24/7. Diabetes is the fastest growing chronic condition in the state, in the country, and globally. We saw a fair degree of research being undertaken from a clinical perspective, but we didn't see any research being undertaken around the behavioural aspects, the behavioural change aspects of diabetes.
The diabetes stigma is a real challenge for a lot of people in our community. And I think it's important to know that it's not necessarily that people are, deliberately trying to make you feel bad about yourself or about your condition. It can often be quite subconscious, I guess. For me personally, sometimes there's always that fear of blame, or there's that fear that people actually feel like it's your fault that you might not only have the condition, but that you're not managing it absolutely perfectly.
The Australian Centre for Behavioural Research Diabetes is a centre located within the Institute for Health Transformation here at Deakin University. We have the centre co-located within Diabetes Victoria, which is a significant strength. We're right there at the coalface in terms of what are the really pressing issues of the day, what really matters to individuals living with diabetes, how do we help them the most?
So the ACBRD is a research centre. It's a national research centre that was set up to provide a strong national voice for the issues that matter to people who are living with the condition and what it takes to live with that condition on a daily basis, how it impacts on their quality of life, their emotional well-being, what it takes to do all the behavioural aspects of living with diabetes, the self-care tasks.
We can have all of the technology research breakthroughs, we can have the clinical research breakthroughs, but we need to have the change such that people embrace them.
So we've really spearheaded work around the importance of the language that we use in diabetes, how to communicate with and about people with diabetes, and that work has been taken up internationally into national bodies across the world. We've also led research into diabetes stigma and its impacts, how that impacts on someone's well-being and their quality of life, but also how it impacts on their self-care of their diabetes. And also, indeed, we're seeing how that impacts on the funding environment for diabetes broadly. So it has much bigger impacts than just on the people with diabetes themselves.
The partnership with Deakin University is absolutely critical. Setting up the ACBRD as the first Australian centre, and in fact international centre, to focus on the behavioural change aspects into diabetes, focusing on stigma, focusing on the change required, and for it to play a role and have the commitment of the two organisations to back it, to fund it, to support it, is a big part of what we wanted to do and how we've been able to achieve that.
Since 2010, Diabetes Victoria and Deakin University have provided core funding to the centre. Over the past decade, we've been able to leverage that funding to win other competitive grants, to work in multidisciplinary teams on larger projects.
Having co-funded positions means that both organisations have responsibility and accountability. It's about having skin in the game. When you commit funding to something, you're not only backing it, but you've also got a significant vested interest in ensuring that you're delivering on what it is that you set out to do in the first place.
For people living with diabetes, and I'm sure we're not the only ones, we're so aware of the value of research. It's one of the key beacons of hope for many of us, and it's not just about keeping people alive, it's about helping them to live really full and meaningful lives. And I think that's one thing, again, in terms of the centre's mission in living that, focusing on that quality of life, not just in the years lived, is really meaningful.